Hi and welcome to Code with Stein. In this video I'm going to build a simple to-do application. I'm going to build everything from scratch, and I don't have any scripts for this video because I want to show you how I do everything when I start from scratch to a finished project. So if I go back and forward a little bit, I have to say sorry in advance. So in this video you will be able to follow me when I go to Google to find problems and everything that I do in order to go from start to finish on this project. So I have created an empty folder, but from now on everything I do you will be able to see. So the first thing I like to do when I start a new project is to create a new virtual environment, virtual env, and then Django to do underscore env. And when I have this, it's much easier to install packages just for this project. So I can activate it by saying source bin activate. Oops, I have to go into it, of course, cd, and then I run the same command, source bin activate. You can see down here that it's activated, and then I want to install Django, pip install Django. Okay, it took a little while to install this, so I cut away that part because it's not fun for you to just watch me sit here and wait. Great, so now we have Django installed. Next step now is to create a new Django project. So Django-admin start project, Django to do. And then I can go into that folder as well. And now it's popped up here, so I have it there. So I can begin by creating a new to-do, a new Django app. Python manage.py start app to do, and then I can go in here and into settings.py to register this with the installed apps. So add it here to do and save. So now Django knows that I have created this app and I want to use it. And then to store the to-dos in a database, I need to create a database model. So I create a new model by saying class to do, pass in models.model, model, and I want these to have a title, models.char field, max length can be set to 255, and I want them to have a description, models.text field, text field, blank equals true, null equals true if you don't want a description for a certain to-do. Then I want one boolean field for checking if it's done. Is done, models.boolean field, default can be false. And we can also have a date added equals models.date time field. Auto now add is set to true, so it's automatically filled when we create a new to-do date time field. So then we can save this and we can update the database by saying python manage.py make migrations and python manage.py migrate. And then we can actually run a server, so we have it running in the background like that. Copy this address, go to Chrome, and this is the welcome page for Django 3.1. So everything is working and we can continue. Inside the to-do app I want to create a folder called templates, and in here I want to create a template for to-dos. No, I want to have a base template because we can extend this for the front page and also the detail page of a to-do. And to build this I want to use bulma. So if I just go to bulma.io, documentation, overview, start, and here I should be able to find this starter template. So I can just copy this, paste it here, and I can remove the contents of the container, and I want to turn this into a Django code block. So block content, and I close it and block like that. So now I can use this on the sub pages as well. Just want to rename the title to Django to do and save. So if I now create one more template, this should be the front page where we'll list out the to-dos. Create new file, todos.html, and I want this to extend the base template. So extends base.html and block content and block. Great, so now every content I put in here will be placed inside here, so I don't have to rewrite this for all the pages. So I can just give a title, div class columns is 12. In here I want the h1 class title to do's, and I can close the div and save. Next I need a view to render this to the user, and I go to views.py to create this, and I can import the to-do model here as well. So from .models import to-do, and then def to-dos, pass in the request parameter, and I can get all the to-dos from the database. To-dos equals to-do .objects.all, and return render request, and we want to use the todos.html template. And then to pass in the to-dos to the front page, so we can front end, so we can use them there. We just create a new dictionary here, to-dos, and pass in to-dos like that. So now this should be available in the front end in this template. Next I want to create a URL file for this. So urls.py, and then I want to import from django.urls import path, and from to-do.views, from to-do import views. So I import all of the views here, and I create a new dictionary, URL patterns path to-dos. Actually this can be empty because I want to add to-dos in the main URL file. Views.todos name to-dos. So now we can access this from all the other places. And then to use this I need to import this URL file into the main URLs file here. To do that I need to import a new function called include. And then I can go to the bottom here and say path, to-dos, and then I want to include to-do.urls, which is the file we just created here. So if I now go back here, go there, and say to-dos, hit enter, this title should show. Perfect. So then we need a way to create new to-dos. To do that I want to use Django model forms. So if I go up here, create a new file, forms.py, and then I need to import model form from Django. So from Django.forms import model form, and I want to import the to-do model we created from .models import to-do class to-do form, and then we just pass in model form. And to customize this, or to set which model to use and similar, we say class meta model equals to-do, and fields we want the title and the description, and also the status or is done, so we can change this in the front end. So if I just save this, copy the name of the form and go to views.py. Here I want to import this by saying from .forms import to-do form, And I can say .forms and .models because we're in the same folder as these two files. And then I can go at the top here and say if request.method equals post, then we know that the form has been submitted to the backend. Then we can say form equals to do form, and I want to use the information from the form. And to do that, I just pass in request.post. And then I can check if the data is valid by saying if form.isValid. And if it is valid, I can just say form.save. And then I want to redirect the user back to the to-dos page. And to do that, I say return, redirect, and just pass in to-dos. And this to-dos name here is a reference to this name. So Django will automatically find the URL to this page. But to use this redirect function, we need to import it. You can just append it after render. And here I can say that if it's not a post request, then I know it's a get request and the form hasn't been submitted. Then I can say form equals to do form. So we can just create an empty instance of this. And I want this to be available in the front end as well. So I need to append it to this list like that. So now I can use the form in the front end. And Django will help me render this. So here I can say HR and form method is post. And I need to pass in something called CSRF token. This is built-in security in Django. And to show the form, I can just say form.sp, which will render the form as a paragraph. And then I want to use a button from bulma. So div class field, div class control, and button class button is primary. So it's a nice green color. And submit. So if I save now, go back here and refresh, you'll see that you have a form here. Perfect. But it looks a little bit weird. So I want to close this column. And sorry, I did something wrong here. Columns is multi-line. Remove that. Div class column is 12. And then close that div. I can copy this like that, close the div and remove it from there, which was the auto close function. Save, refresh, now it's a little bit better. Perfect. And then at the bottom here, I want to list out the to-dos. So if I create another HR, and I can copy this again. And in here, I want to loop through all of the to-dos. And I do that by saying for to-do in to-dos. And this to-dos is, of course, a reference to this variable. And I can say p to-do.title. And 4. If I save now, go back and refresh, you don't see anything here. But if I inside here or at the bottom say empty, so this will show if you don't have any to-dos. You don't have any to-dos yet. Refresh, and now I see this message instead. Perfect. So let's try to create a to-do. Test 1. The description and is done can be stay unchecked, so it's not done. So if I submit it, we will see this to do here. Perfect. Test 2, submit, great. And then I can make it possible to click the to do to go into it and see the detail view. To do that, I want one new template, todo.html. And I want this to extend the base as well. So extends base.html, oops, and block content, and block, and in here I can go and copy a little bit of the top here, this, and instead of saying to-dos there, I can say to-do.title, and I can create one more of this, and we say strong status, and to-do.is done, br strong description, and to-do.description should be lowercase d, like that. Great, and close this. And then to use this template we need a view. So if I go back to views.py, create one more here, def to do request, but to get a certain to do from the database we need the ID of it. We can say pk, which is primary key, and to do equals get object or 404. So this will give a 404 error if it doesn't exist in the database. And here we need to pass in the to do model and primary key equals primary key. So it will only give us the to do where the primary key is the same as we pass in. Now we just need to import this function at the top here. And then we can say return render request to do.html and pass in to do. Save. Then we need to import it in here, path, and to insert the primary key here we can say this int pk, which is the name. So pk, this could be to do ID if you wanted that. It's just need to be the same as you have here. And then we want to use views.todo, and name is also to do. Save. And then to use this we can go to the to-dos list, scroll down where we loop through them, and say href. Here we use a Django function called URL to do, which is the name we use here. Then we just need to pass in to do.id, view details, save. If I go back and refresh, both of these have buttons, and if I click it, I will be sent here, and this is test one, status is false, and the description is there. Perfect. But I can change the status a little bit, and I need to have this here, of course. Is done. That makes a little bit more sense. So it's done, false. Description, and it shows the description. Perfect. So then I need to make it possible to click a button here to set this task to done. And I can just copy this. And I only want to show this if the task isn't done. So if not task or to do.is done, and if, and then we create a link href URL to do, which is the same page we are on, and pass in to do.id, add a question mark, and say change status equals done, mark as done. So if I save this, go back to see it, I can click this, but nothing happens. So just remove this, and then I want to go to the views.py to get this parameter here. And I can get it by saying change status equals request.get. And this can default to empty. So if it isn't in the URL, it will just be empty. And if I want to check if it has been filled out, you can say if change status then todo.isDone equals true, and we can save it by saying todo.save. Great. So if I now just refresh, click mark as done, this changed to true and the button is gone. And I can go back here, hit enter, no sorry, go to the list like that. And maybe I want to show the status here as well. And I can do that by saying, can add 2 parentheses and say todo.isDone is done, show a little label. So here we see that this is true because it's done and this is false. But maybe we don't even want to show the to-dos which is done here. So I can go to views.py and instead of saying .all I can say filter is done equals false. If I now refresh, this task should be removed. Great. Test 3, like that, submit, this is there. But if I go into this, mark as done, go back again, it's gone from this list. Perfect. And that was how you can create a very simple do application using Django. I hope that even if I didn't have a script for this, that it was possible to understand what I did and my explanation wasn't too bad. If you have any questions about this code, feel free to leave a comment below and answer as soon as I can. So, see you in the next video.